Gaethje Ferguson just got a little bit more interesting, didn't it? I think that we all thought for 249 in the date that was selected, April 18th, and the short notice fight, the short time that Gaethje had to know full well he was doing this. Look, I know that Gaethje told us 2 months ago, I'm going to prepare, I'm going to be the guy that steps in. But in that same time he told us that, he shared, look, it's a little hard to get motivated to do the extra hard stuff, the extra sprints that I'm throwing in by example, the extra rounds. If you don't know for sure you have a fight, and that's a very transparent and real thing. Part of the motivation, you guys will hear this a lot from coaches, you've got to be motivated. Well, that's a nice thing to say. But athletes can tell you there's times that you're motivated, there's times that you aren't. There's times when it's physicality, but there's times when it's a mental exercise. So a little bit of a hard spot that Justin was put in. I'm just elaborating on some of the thoughts that he's made. I've followed very closely what his actions have been in the media for the last couple of months. So when he gets the call to fight Tony, it was on 9 days notice? 9 days notice, just to put in perspective for you guys, take 5 right off of that. Because when you get out on what's called fight week, between media obligations that you would have, and those could have been limited, but we don't know that. Between press that you would have, might have been limited, but we don't know that. But most importantly, the overlying thing of fight week is recovery and make weight. It's what's called a taper week. So if he had 9 days, I might be changing it and it was 11, but I think you get my point. Take 5 of those away. So Gaethje, we kind of would have at least guessed, based on those pieces that we have, needed to go out there and stop Tony. If this gets to 20 and 24 and 25 minutes in, Gaethje's probably going to be a little bit fatigued. For good reason. Okay, store that thought. Because that immensely changes with 2 more weeks of preparation. And you might think, 2 weeks, how much time is that? Guys, 2 weeks is a lot of time. You can get in shape in 2 weeks. Now I'm not saying are going to be quite where you want to be, but I don't know that Gaethje started from 0 to start with. I take him at his word when he said, for 2 months, I'm going to prepare myself. I'm going to prepare my mind and my body. I believe him. Just the fact that he was willing to beat the scale meant that he had a level of condition there. 2 more weeks changes things. Does it add 4 more minutes that Justin could go? We don't know how far he could have gone before. We're just guessing that he would have had a strategy to try to get Tony out of there in the first 2. But all of a sudden, if that's true, he's now got 3. And that's a meaningful amount of time that just got added to this contest potentially. And speaking of the date change, I think that not only does it affect Francis Ngannou versus Rozenstruik, I think it now changes who I pick to win the fight. I think now I lean towards Ngannou to pick the fight. The shorter the time, the better. For anybody that big, for anybody that strong, for anybody that's a power puncher, the less time that they have to do it, the less time you have to wear them down, get your hands on them, push, pull, chop away at the tree, whatever your strategy might be, even if you're striking heavy Rozenstruik, the less time that you have to do that is not a good thing for you. And the relevance to the date change for Rozenstruik versus Ngannou was, guys, that was supposed to be a main event, which means that's supposed to be scheduled for 5 rounds. And you can hedge your bet and go, I don't think it would have got 5 rounds anyway. That isn't the point at all. The point is the strategy and the mindset of the athlete going in there. He always has to have that in his mind. Worst case scenario, I'm out here all night long. All damn night, I'm about to go into the 5-round club. Can I do it? And you will question yourself. Did I work hard enough? Did I prepare? Did I eat right? You'll go through a whole bunch of lists because fatigue will make a coward of any man.
You have this new show that's out on TNT every Thursday night. It's called Shaq Life. It premiered last week to a ton of praise, and I've enjoyed it immensely. And especially now in this crazy time, it's great to have new content and fun things to get our mind off of things. But why I'm here, I'm the MMA guy at ESPN, and the episode that's airing tomorrow night is very MMA heavy. There's a lot of famous MMA fighters. So first, can you tell us about the show, the concept of the show, what it's all about?
Well, MMA is the reason I became a champion. I always used to practice basketball. It wasn't enough because when I played basketball, it wasn't a basketball. It was more wrestling. So when I trained MMA with John Burke, a friend of mine down in Orlando, I came back in the best shape of my life. That was in 2001, dominated. So I'm a creature of habit. Did it again, won the second championship. Did it again, won the third championship. Got cute, got away from it, lost, got traded to Miami, did it again, won the fourth championship. So, MMA is something that always kept my heart rate up. It was something I was very interested in. I'm a physical guy. I like physicality. You talk about athletes. MMA athletes are probably the best athletes on the planet. The training that they go through, the physical stuff that they go through. I've been to almost all of the top UFC fights. Those guys are specimen, and I'm a sport. I wish I could hit some of those NBA players I used to play against just like that. So I've definitely been a fan of MMA. I was introduced to MMA by Vitor Belfort. We were at a camp in Hawaii, and Vito just comes up behind me and grabs me, and I'm like, "Hey, what are you doing?" He said, No. I'm a big fan of yours. I just wanted to show you what I do. I'm having a fight tonight. And Vito fought this big dude in a lumberjack suit, and he put him down in 5 seconds. And ever since then, I became a fan. And then I met Dana White, and me and Dana White are friends, and I'm able to go to the training facility and watch all those specimens train. So it's a great thing for me, and I love MMA. So I said to myself, let me try it, let me train. I wanted to fight a couple of pro guys, but they were having matches. So they put me against a guy my size who was an amateur, he wasn't pro, and I'll let you watch the episode to see what happened. But listen, I did call out Hung Man Choi a long time ago because I've never fought anyone my size. Ever since 10 years old, I've heard the phrase, pick on somebody else, pick on somebody else. So at the time, a couple years ago, if he was willing to fight, I would have fought him, Hung Man Choi.
How serious did those talks get? How far, did you ever actually seriously pursue it?
No, I just mentioned it. I wanted somebody to come back. Well, actually, I wanted Dana to come back and say, I'll set it up. But nobody ever did. So, it just turned into, I say something, he say something, I say something, he say something. But I definitely would have, gave it a try.
Either favorite or least favorite fighter, most people's least favorite fighter, but he gets people going, gets people emotional, gets people talking, knows how to talks a good game. I guess he said that he wants to make a run to go to the WWE, and Bisping's just gone. He just left. This is how little he respects Colby Covington. He's like, you know what? I won't even talk about him.
I feel like I've walked the Zoom.
He said he wants to make a run to the WWE in 2021. So what do you think?
I think a lot of guys think it's a good idea to go WWE until they actually do it, because it seems like in MMA you can train at your own time and do your own thing. But at WWE, it's like 300 days out of the year. It's some insane schedule, and I think it seems like a lot of wrestlers have made the transition to MMA, or at least have any? Well, except for CM Punk and maybe whatever, but that didn't go too well. I don't know. It seems like it's not as easy as one would think it would be. I know that Matt Riddle tried to do it. He had some success.
Well, I think Matt Riddle was in MMA first before he was in wrestling. Maybe I'm wrong, but he's doing pretty good now, I believe. I think he's a guy who actually is pretty respected on the independent circuit. And obviously there's Brock Lesnar, who's the biggest of everybody. But the guys that go from MMA to WWE, I mean, look, famously, Ken Shamrock was the one who's the biggest guy that did it back in the day. Ronda obviously did it. There are guys that have done it. I just don't. I mean, Colby's kind of small. He's a 170 pounder. I couldn't imagine him being big enough to sort of get in there and do what those guys
like it's
did.
A lot different now. It's not. When I was younger, it was like the huge guys, and now the smaller guys.
Yeah.
Can make a run at it. But I just think it's a lot different. I think it's a lot different on your body, and I don't think it's as fun as guys think it is for MMA guys.
Yeah, when I was a kid, Adam, I always thought it was like these gigantic Hulk Hogan type characters. But as you see now, there's more and more people. Like when I first saw CM Punk, I couldn't believe it. I thought some big wrestler was coming over to the UFC. And then I saw him, and he's a very average sized guy. Some would say on the smaller, slighter, more pathetically shit side of MMA, right? I'm joking.
He fought at 170, right?
Yeah, he fought at 170. Yes, so somebody like Colby definitely could do. I mean, I guess he's got the mouthpiece. He's got the charisma. Because we're talking about him right now, and he certainly has the MMA world talking about him. He has the physical attributes.
But as you said, Adam, I'm sorry, Mike, but do you think that he has the same charisma as a lot of these WWE guys? Because he's sort of cringy. He doesn't really nail it. He just takes the shot. And
have you seen every single fucking promo that's done by a professional wrestler? I'm sorry. It's cringy as hell. It's the cringiest shit we've ever seen in our lifetime. Colby Covington, go to the WWE right now.
He could. I think it's not as fun as you think it is. I think in the beginning it's great, and then when you're in some like Toledo, Ohio, the next night you got to go to this place, then you got to go to Dayton, and you go to all these off TV ones.
It's not the same thing where I think MMA, so all right, so you're on the road 300 days a year in the WWE and performing every night essentially and putting your body through the ringer, or you're training MMA and you're in 2 or 3 training camps per year. It's a different type of punishment you're putting on your body. But with the WWE, those guys, all of them end up on painkillers. I shouldn't say all of them, but you hear about it over and over again. Addicted to painkillers, like major issues with their backs, necks, reconstructive surgeries. And we hear the same thing with MMA guys. But I got to be honest with you, I don't know how much health benefits that pro wrestling has. Whereas in MMA, I mean, you guys are the most athletic people in the world.
Yeah, but what you got to realize is, and you're absolutely right, 300 days a year performing that type of stuff, leaping through the air, hitting the canvas.
Yeah, just slamming your back onto the canvas over and over again. It's crazy.
With such impact over and over again. Of course, you're going to have injuries, and that will take its toll on your body. But as we spoke about in the last show, we broke it down in depth. When you fight in MMA, that's the easy part. It's the training camp. It's the 2 months of sheer fucking hell. I used to spar Monday, Wednesday, Friday with multiple guys per sparring session, right? 2 guys switching every 2.5 minutes so they're not getting tired and you're getting pushed. That is essentially a fight. Yes, it's not as intense. You have bigger gloves on, but you're still taking blows to the head. You're still getting kicks to the body, kicks to the legs, still having people fucking choke you out and all that type of stuff. So whilst it's a downgraded fight, it's maybe at 75% intensity, it's still taking a toll on your body. Now, I'm not, the discussion isn't who's better or who's tougher or who schedules harder, MMA or professional wrestling, because they're both very, very tough on your body. And we know time and time again, as you said, a lot of them end up on opioids with drug addictions. They have issues due to steroids as well, which unfortunately, my wife's trying to sneak in here without being seen. You're very distracting, Rebecca. Very distracting. I was on a rant there. I was killing it. That was the best thing you've ever heard about.
So I have to ask you, how are you handling this quarantine and all this crazy coronavirus going around?
Man, it's the craziest thing I've ever been through in my lifetime. I don't know what to expect. I just been staying at home. As soon as I heard about it, I just set quarantine right away. So I've been on quarantine a lot longer than the rest of the world. As soon as I heard about it, I just stayed at home. I had fought like on December 31st in Japan, right? And I've never had the flu or anything before in my life. And one day I was in Japan and I got sick right before I came home. I got really sick, something I never felt before. I had like I was cold, but I was sweating, and something's wrong with my stomach. And I called my ex-wife. She's Japanese. She's at home, and I was like, "Hey, what's going on? I'm getting sick," because she knows about all the flu and stuff like that. She said, "I don't know, maybe you got the flu, but it only lasts for 24 hours, right?"
Right.
So I was like, "Man, it's not the flu. I've never had the flu before." So honestly, I don't know. I think I probably had like the first strand of that shit. At first, it lasted for 24 hours. I was really sick. I had to lay in the bed for the whole day, and then I was done. And then she says like, "No, maybe you had like a 24-hour bug." But maybe I did have like a 24-hour flu, but I don't know much about flus and stuff like that. So as soon as I heard that a lot of people was getting sick and stuff. I said, "Fuck this! I'm staying home." And I've been home ever since. I only left my house once recently. I went to go over my kid's house because we're all moving together. And I had to go do some stuff over there. It was kind of weird even leaving my house. I have no idea what's going on. I don't know what to think of this.